Here I am. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, about 22 hours later than planned. Here is my review of probably the biggest win in Grimsby Town's history. As Grimsby Town last night, as I record this, came up trumps, shall we say, with a massive win over Manchester United. 2-2 after regulation time, and it ended 12-11 to the Mariners on penalties. Now, the best way to put it is Grimsby came out the blocks, literally came out the blocks with some real determination, some real fight, some real vigour. Another reason why this review is late, before I go on, is I re-watched the game earlier, so I basically didn't miss anything. And we'll start with what the lineups were. Chrissy Pym was in goal, Harvey Rogers, Terrell Warren, Cameron McJanet, Jaden Sweeney, George McEachran, Dara Burns, Kieran Green, Evan Corey, Charles Vernon, and Cam Gardner was leading the line. I was a little bit concerned when that happened. I was a little bit concerned, thinking not necessarily could he not deal with it, but I thought they would have put probably a more experienced head in there with him. But to be fair to Cam, he had a very, very good game as it went out to be. Whereas Man U, they had Onana in goal, youngster Fredrickson, Harry Maguire, and Heaven. They were the back three with Diego Dallo, Kobe Mainu, Manuel Agate, and Dorgu, Diallo, Cunha, and Sesko started the game. Our bench was Henry Brown, Seb Alton, Jace Cabia, Justin Malazor, Odo, who just signed the day before, Danny Rose, Sunset Bell, Reece Staunton, and Geza Torre. And they had Bayern Deer, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Tom Heaton, Leon Mbeumo, Mount, Xerxes, and De Ligt. So when I say that Town deserved this, Town deserved it, because that was not a weak Man United side, really. That was a real strong thing. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the man has come up with some some great enthusiasm, some great energy, and I think it kind of caught Man United off guard a little bit, as I don't think they were expecting it. Again, the work from Vernon, the work from Burns, the work from Sweeney. I'll tell you what, the understanding between Burns and Sweeney and Vernon, and the crossfield balls. Whenever we do the crossfield ball, there's always purpose behind it. Everyone seems to know where it was, and there was some good football in there. We weren't overshadowed at all by Man United. It was kind of like we belong on this pitch. People would probably say that we weren't, but we did in what you would class as a rain-sodden Blundell Park at the end. But the first goal from the Mariners was, well, it was a fantastic goal, really. Great work again by the guys, and it was a mistake, the calling by the goalkeeper. I do think it took a deflection slightly as well, but all I can pretty much say is it was great week, great work from the Mariners to get it to the midfield are just clicking right now. And I remember saying, and I've said this in many a review, Charles Burnham is an absolute menace down the wing. He's just an absolute menace, and he's not afraid to take people on, and had a great sort of turn of pace. Good ball sort of played to him, and he sort of smashed it into Onana's near post. It doesn't look like Onana didn't really get his hand out to it. It kind of looked like his hand was underneath him rather than out to the side of him, and maybe should have saved that, but everyone in the ground went absolutely it went ballistic really. The sounds of the crowd were absolutely deforming in general case, and the Mariners just kept on going. You know, for the first 40 minutes, Town were pretty much all over them. You know, and after that we had a concession of corners given away by Man U. We just kept the pressure on, and the second goal came from a corner delivered in by I believe it was by Vernon, Chester's goal was by a crossfield ball by Burns, and like I said, that was a great goal by Chaz. Great to see Chaz get the goal, but the second goal, of course, was a corner in by Chaz, and Onana just flapped at it, absolutely flapped at it. No one seemed to react from the Man United defence. They were just sort of static and in disbelief. I think with Onana missing it, you can see why they're concerned about Onana really, because really he shouldn't have done that really. Now, I will say about our second goal, I think we were very, very fortunate really, because if there'd have been VAR, looking back on the game on the TV, if we'd have had VAR, that goal would not have stood. Because it does seem, yes, it hit Terrell on the chest, but it does seem to hit his hand definitely and hit his arms really. That is the advantage about being lower league and not having VAR, but you know, you have to be in there to get it. The referee's view was slightly blocked, and with Onana missing it, Terrell was able to just roll the ball in once it got to his feet for 2-0. And you could not say that Town did not deserve that. Town had been dominant throughout that first half, and really commanded that first half. So the Mariners went in 2-0 at half time. I think all TV stations, because it was on ITV and on Sky, I think they were all in disbelief that Grimsby Town were 2-0 up at half time, and you kind of knew that Man United were going to respond to that, so much so they made a triple change at half time, and they had to really, because they did not have much choice. They brought on Bruno Fernandes, Brian Buemo, and Delict all came on at the start of the second half, but again, Town were again, fairly good with the ball. Had less of the ball in the second half, really, which, to be honest, we kind of expected. We knew they weren't going to have. They were going to have to come out. They were going to have to push. Just going back quickly into the first half, Sesko had a couple of chances for Man U early on, which Christy Pym comfortably saved, really. But again, Pym is being a revelation, and just shows what it means when you've got you feel like you've got a competent keeper. The defence feels very very assured. And in the second half, Man U had to push. They had to push going back into the second half. And to be fair, that is when the heavens opened, shall we say. Definitely early on in the second half, I know that I got absolutely drenched. I got literally. It gave me nightmares of what happened to me 6 years earlier against Macclesfield. I thought the same thing was going to happen again. It was atrocious conditions. I did think for a little while in the second half, were we going to be able to finish the game? Luckily, even though there was service water for the remainder of the game, it stopped around about 63 minutes or so, but it was really, really heavy shower for a little while, and within that time, Man U started to get sort of control of it. Before that, though, really, we should have been 3-0 up, to be fair. We played a good ball through. I think it was Corey that played the ball through. It was Corey or McEachran that played the ball through. And Harry Maguire did seem to make a forward play for the ball, which would, if that was the case, did, I will say really, play Cam Gardner onside. But the linesman flagged it for off. It was a great finish for Cam. Felt very disappointed for Cam, really. That was about 68 minutes or so, and you're thinking, if we'd have got that third, it would have been game over. But then it wasn't long after that that Man U got themselves back in the game a couple of minutes later, where Brian Mbeumo just seemed to he picked the ball up just over the halfway line in their half and just ran at the defence. Now through most of the game, Town's defenders were immense. They kept getting blocks in. They kept putting their heads in. This time round, though, they let Mbeumo go in a sense where they just kept backing off. It was a good finish by Mbeumo, but a little bit disappointing to concede in that manner. Especially with the hard work that, like I said, people like Sweeney, people like Rodgers, Janet McEachran had all done, defensively. It was a little bit disappointing there. But you could feel the confidence of some description come back into Man United a little bit. What I liked about that is that when we did concede, we didn't concede straight after, which I think helped us really, because this is when the rain really was dying down, and we were still trying to get at them. Didn't really get many Man United half touches in the second half as much as we had. We kept going, we kept trying to play our stuff. We kept, when we had to clear the ball out, we did. And it was a pleasing performance to see. The only disappointing thing was just with a couple of minutes to go in the 89th minute, they got a corner, and obviously you got the big man at the back, Harry Maguire. Mason Mount, who did actually make a difference for Man United really when he came on. He sort of swung the ball into the back post, and he just got ahead of his marker and nodded it in. I think Christie would be a little bit disappointed because he seemed to have palmed it back into his own net. Man U were back at 2-2, and you're thinking, all that hard work. But a lot of people, we were saying to each other, whatever happens now, Town have definitely not disgraced themselves. It was a sort of fingernail biting time. Sesko had a chance right on full time, which him and De Ligt, went for the same ball, and really how it didn't go in was beyond me. It was like a backward header, and we weren't clearing it very well. It was kind of like you're thinking it's just going to be a tap in, and for somehow or another Sesko blazed it over the bar. And that's about 92 minutes or so in, and you're thinking we're going to take this to penalties, and we did, and we greatly did, and it was one of those sort of it was like I called the game at the start, a no lose situation. Town had pretty much won whatever had happened, really. Man U were going to come out with no credit for this whatsoever. But we got into penalties, and credit to everyone that stepped up. We scored our first two penalties, as did Manchester United. Then the new signing Ojo, who had just joined us the day before on loan from Bradford, credit to him, because he didn't really know his new teammates all that well, and he had the confidence to go, yes, Gaffer, I'll take one, and it wasn't a bad penalty, but it was a good penalty. It was well saved by Onana, to be honest. But the penalties just carried on. Neither of the keepers were really getting close, I say that, and obviously after the miss by Odur, it was kind of going penalty for penalty. Then Manu had the chance to win it with a Mateus Cunha to take the fifth penalty, and I think he was a bit lapsadaisical with his penalty, because the other ones, Christie was getting nowhere near them, but I think he kind of telegraphed it, and Christie could read, and looking back on the game on TV, you could see where he was going to put it, and he put no power behind it. He just sort of, never passed it to Christie, really, and it got to the point where it got to the goalies, the goalkeepers. Christie took his first and really buried it past Onana. Onana took his penalty and made it 10-all at that point, I believe it was. And they were ready then for the second go around. So Jays took his second penalty. I'm pleased when he did, he scored those 2 penalties. I'm very pleased because he'd missed his previous 2 prior to that in the last couple of games. So, it was good that he got up there and scored the second one, and then he went sort of like for like up until it got to 12-11, and in Burmo stepped up, one player that you would not have thought would have missed. Gave the Mariners the win as his penalty smashed off the crossbar, and delirium was had by everybody at Brundle Park, and it was just a thought of, I can't believe what I just seen and what I just experienced. Grimsby Town getting still unbeaten since 1905 against Manchester United, and our first meeting for 77 years against Man United, and we've still got the number, haven't we? I wonder if it's going to be another 77 years before we play them again, but it was just electric. I think everybody did good. Rogers obviously had to go off late on in the second half due to a little bit of a knock. That could have also been down to conditions as well, but everyone to a man was absolute quality for the Mariners on this occasion, and it was a joy to behold as the Mariners stay unbeaten, and the scenes after the final whistle were just an absolute joy to be there and experience the electricity that wasn't just happening in the sky, but was also happening actually on the pitch and around the stadium. It's probably Grimsby Town's biggest win. One thing I will say is I always felt like we could do this. When the draw was made about 10 days ago, once I realised it was Manchester United here, I always felt like we had a chance, and we did, and we've got ourselves into round 3 of the Carabao Cup, being the first team since 2014 to beat Man United in the second round, as they obviously have had no European competition. Well, they've also now lost one of their avenues to get European football again, and they've fell foul, shall we say, to the miraculous Mariners, and it so pleasing to be a Grimsby Town fan and supporter, and it's just we're great at these one-off games. The Mariners are great at one-off games. I think we're the kings of it. The amount of times we've come up with big results in games that you don't give us a prayer on. I know some betting places put the Mariners at 12-1 to win the game in general. I don't know what it would have been on penalties, but I said 1-1 on penalties. Someone asked me, and I did give a prediction. I didn't on my prediction video, but I said 1-1 and win on penalties. So I was right with the draw, and I was right with the penalty win. But probably the best home night I think I've experienced as a Grimsby Town fan. Just one of the most amazing feelings being a Grimsby Town fan. I've never known Grimsby in such a strong position on and off the field. Credit has to go to David Artell and Sean Pearson and things like that, but the owners, everyone that's worked for the club at least for the last 4.5 years, everybody has been a part of this with this, the fans included in that, and to get a draw overall, in 90 minutes against one of, if not the, we're definitely in the top three biggest clubs in the world, and to actually come away with a 2-2 draw, lead for them for so long, for 3/4 of the game in fact, it is just a night as a football fan, as a Grimsby Town fan, I'll never forget. And it was a pleasure to be there. And we also found out after that, I thought David Artell spoke very well, and very calm after the match to both ITV and Sky. I thought everyone did everybody proud, including David. Yes, David has proven me wrong, and I've said this in a couple of videos, and I do not mind being proven wrong whatsoever. And we obviously move on now. We move on. There's something terribly not right at Man United, but that's none of our business. At the end of the day, our business turns to Bristol Rovers on Saturday. But I do want to mention that the draw did take place for the League Cup. If anyone hasn't seen that yet, it's Sheffield Wednesday, Hillsborough. Is the reward, shall we say, for beating Man United at home. I like that draw. It's a good draw. It's a competitive draw, I'm sure. So we'll see. They knocked us out the cup last year at Blundell Park when they beat us 5-1. So maybe we can get a bit of revenge on that. So it's Sheffield Wednesday in the next round at Hillsborough. But now, like I've just said, attentions turn away from the cup competition and heads towards Bristol Rovers on Saturday, back to the bread and butter of League Two action. But I'll have a review. I'll have a preview for that coming up tomorrow. So do hit that bell button and the subscribe button, and the bell button will let you know when I upload the preview for the Bristol Rovers game. But on this video, let me know down below, how buzzing are you to finally get Man United at home and actually end up coming out on the right side of the result? How buzzing are you, Mariners fans? There was 8,647 people in Blundell Park. It sounded like a hell of a lot more, to be truthful. But let me know your thoughts down below. What's your thoughts on it? And this has probably been the best football I've seen since Buckley. How many of you people agree? But like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts down below. This video is more for you to tell me what you guys think and what you guys thought. So do let me know down below in the comments. I will communicate with you all down there, and I will see you as I record this tomorrow for the preview for Bristol Rovers, and I'll see you guys as well back at the park on Saturday when we host the Gas. So in the meantime, guys, once again, like, share, subscribe, comment, and just enjoy this. There's been media all the way through the day, and it's just been a shock to everybody. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now because, as you can tell, it's getting a little bit dark down here, and my camera needs to pick me up properly. So I shall finish there, and I will see you guys in the preview. Leave your comments down below. I'll see you in the comment section until the preview tomorrow, guys. Up the Mariners, And 12-11, yay! I'll see you guys soon. Ta-ra.